Hi there guys, Darren Stevenson back with another video. Today I'm going to have a go at commentating on a game that my friends are going to play on Dueling Book. So I'd like to introduce you to them first. So I have my friend Ahmed Mustafa, who is going to play Salamangreat. He is an upcoming player who I think is quite good at the game, and I really hope to see him do very well in the future. Hopefully he'll be the European champion, who knows. And his opponent is Vladis Baranowskis, who's been in tremendous form this season, topping both YCS London and YCS Milan with his Gemini strategy, which is a pretty strong deck. Didn't quite see him play it at Dusseldorf. I think he would have done really well if he did. He also is repping the Salamangreat strategy. So we're going to have ourselves a Salamangreat mirror match. So it's going to be really interesting to see what sort of interactions happen in the mirror match, as it's not something I've really seen before. So that's going to be very, very interesting. So what I'll do is I'll just let them know that they can begin by determining who's going to go first with rock, paper, scissors. Cap lock shouldn't have been on there. Right, so what these players are going to do, they're going to just do standard procedure, no time. They're just going to play a game of rock, paper, scissors to determine who goes first, and then just play a best of 3. So AMKM is Ahmed and Cool Kid Wonder is Vladis. So it looks like Vlad won the role here, and he's going to choose to go first, and he's got a strong opening here with Lady Debug. Lady Debug lets you add 1 Cyberse card to your hand, and he's immediately going to... Oh, he's not. He's going to add Salamangreat Spinny, which is a really good extender which you can use. He must already have the Gazelle, so he can use that to chain block the Bailings. Oh no, I don't think he has Gazelle. He must have just went straight for Spinny. Oh no, of course, a Gazelle, you need to send a Salamangreat card to the graveyard first in order to summon Gazelle, because we need to remember that Lady Debug is not a Salamangreat card. Ooh, that is strong. So Ahmed has Ash Blossomed the Gazelle, so Vlad won't be able to get instant access to his Jaguar. However, now Vlad is going to go into Stalio, which means that he will summon the Jaguar. But it's a bit disappointing for Vlad, as he would have probably sent the counter trap with Gazelle, and that would have been really strong, especially if he's playing the Artifact Sanctum build, which means that he could have his Artifact Sanctum locked with a protection if he did have another Ash, if Ahmed had another Ash. So he's going to go into Sunlight Wolf, which is Salamangreat's probably best card in the whole deck, in the extra deck even, because being able to Reincarnation Link with the Salamangreat Sanctuary just gives you like so many pluses. Lets you add a card from the graveyard, well, add 2 cards from the graveyard, 1 spell or trap and then 1 monster as well, so you use that to get your Gazelle, which is like a follow-up, and then you also add back, in this case, Salamangreat Circle, which is also another good follow-up. But typically, you usually add back the trap that you sent off Gazelle, but you couldn't do that because I got Ash Blossomed. And here, Jaguar is really, really good as a resource management tool, as well as an extender as well. So it's just perfect. The card's so good. Oh, that's interesting. He's going to go into Hate the Fire Chamber Blaze. Not massively sure what this card does. So you can target 1 fire monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your zone this card points to. That's really cool. If this card links summon card is destroyed by a battle card effect, or it's destroyed by an opponent's card effect while it's in its owner's monster zone, you can add 1 fire monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of once per turn. That's interesting. I'm not massively sure why you link the Jaguar and the Wolf to take the Ash. But we'll see. We'll see what he's got. We'll see what he's got up his sleeve. So Ahmed has opened Flame Buffalo here, which I think is a completely crazy good card. When it's sent to grave by anyway, you draw 2 cards. So you can use this to chain block the Bailings to get the Sanctuary, or you can chain block it with Bailings if you really want to draw 2 cards. So you can completely tailor it to your plays depending on what your hand depending on what your hand is. Like for example, if you already have like the field spell but you play 2 copies, you can use the Balings to mask the Buffalo, so you can just draw 2 cards for free. It's crazy. Such a good card. Ahmed has started off strong here with Gazelle and Buffalo, so we'll get to see how interesting how this mirror match plays out. I think he made the hitter as it must be important in the mirror match for resources, because if he wants to run over it and try and kill him, then he gets to add back a fire monster from his graveyard. Vlad's probably thinking ahead here for the resource game, as this probably will be quite a back and forth mirror match where resources are really, really important. So Ahmed's using Foxy here, and that can pop up a face-up card, and it does that on resolution, it doesn't target. So if Vlad doesn't have a response, then he will lose his Sanctuary. He can choose to protect this with the Balings, but he's not going to. He's just going to let it get destroyed. And here comes Spinny. So now Ahmed has a lot of options here. Depends what Vlad's back row is, and we're not sure what it is. Shame I can't see the cards. Then I would have an idea of what sort of play Ahmed is going for, but for now we're just going to have to go with what we can see. So Ahmed is going to go for Stalio. An interesting choice. He's going to be restricted to only using the effects of fire monsters this turn, but if he's not going for game anyway, then he won't need Boral Sword. He's probably just going to play the resource game and just take cards from Vlad so he can set up his own line of defense. The only cards that are known in Vlad's hand is the Gazelle and the Circle. Vlad has 2 unknowns that Ahmed has to be careful of. Ooh, that was smart by Ahmed, using the Stalio to bounce his Stalio, as it can be protected with Balings. But this is pretty good. Vlad has the Fantastical Dragon, so that's a pretty strong card. It's a defensive card as well as a card that gives you card advantage. So if Ahmed is to target any of Vlad's cards, Vlad can now protect himself. So it looks like Ahmed actually bounced the Ash instead of the Stalio, which makes sense. Vlad essentially giving him a free defensive card here. Probably wasn't the best idea to summon an Ash Blossom from the graveyard, because it means that Ahmed literally just got his Ash back for free. So I think that was probably a mistake. So the Fantastical is going to protect Vlad from any of Heatlio's effects. So I think if Heatlio is linked someone with its own name, it can target a card in the graveyard and make its attack equal to a 1. Well, that's attack to the field. Ooh, I have not seen that one before. If this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it for your normal draw, you can reveal this card, special summon it from your hand. If this card is in your hand, you can discard one of a Salamangreat card, special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect. That's cool. So if he wants to, he can use Mia as a sort of defensive card. So when he uses Circle to add Mia and he's about to get OTK'd, he can summon it from his hand because he's just added it. And that's pretty cool. And also means it turns Circle into an extender as well. I really like that. It's really cool. So what will Ahmed do here to try and beat Vlad? I'm not sure if he has a lot of options here. I don't really know why he went into Heatlio, unless he's going to try and add back Fusion of Fire, but he needed to use Sunlight's Wolf effect to do that. think Vlad's in a better position here. I think Ahmed went into Heat Leo a bit too early. So I get the impression that he definitely should have Sunlight Wolf to add back Fusion of Fire. That would have been really strong against Vlad, as it can fuse from both sides of the field. So Vlad's going to use Balinks to protect Mirage Stelio. So what's next for Ahmed? Ahmed's passed on a singular back row, which he's going to use immediately. That's pretty strong. So since he has a link free that was used summoning with its own name, Salamangreat monster, you can pop up to 3 cards in the field and it doesn't target, so that gets rid of the Phantasme. That was pretty strong. And remember that Ahmed also has the Ash Blossom in his hand, so Vlad's got some work to do here to out the Salamangreat board with a Balinks in the graveyard, as well as having to deal with an Ash Blossom as well. So this can be pretty interesting. We know Vlad has potentially not a circle anymore because he set it. Ooh, here it adds from the deck. That's great. That's really good. So he's going to get Falco to recycle his spell and traps. So we know he's got Mir, Falco, and a Gazelle. So Vlad definitely has plays here. He has a Spinny in his graveyard as well. And a Jaguar. So Vlad's got some really good setup here. Vlad can really do some damage. So he decides to go for Foxy. He won't use its effect. Because Foxy can only use 1 effect per turn. So he's probably going to use the effect to bring itself back, which is a good idea because it'll get rid of the Sanctuary, which is part of the whole deck's theme and win condition. And he's playing Foxer too. This is quite a teched out deck. Foxer does more or less the same thing as Foxy, but Foxer gets rid of Sep's back row instead. But Foxer can still special itself even though there's no back row. So Vlad has a lot of pushes. So it's really interesting to see how, if he can get game through the Ash Blossom and the Balinks. And it's looking like he can, because it looks like he has a lot. Ahmed is going to Ash the Gazelle again, but I just don't think that that's going to really do anything. Vlad has so much he can still do. He has Jaguar, he has Spinny. He just has to bait the Balinks, and that's it. How does he do that? He still has Spinny left. He still has Foxer left. He's thinking long and hard here, looking for his extra deck, just trying to see if there's an answer. You would think it just looks so simple, doesn't it? Just 2 monsters on the field, but really, like, that Balinks is applying a lot of pressure. Because if you don't get rid of one of these Salamangreat monsters, it's equivocal of Zodiac. Like, every monster a resource, and it unlocks potential plays. But the beauty of this deck, of what it has over Zodiac is it has cards like Spinny, which just stay in the graveyard, which act as a resource. So it means you can just apply so much pressure in the following turn, even if they clear their board. So it's absolutely imperative that Vlad gets game here. Otherwise, Ahmed can cause a lot of bother. So he's going to link into another Sunlight Wolf to add back a circle. Maybe Vlad is not thinking about OTKing him and more so thinking about how to just get more cards up on him, which is a good play. Special summon in the mirror here. That's cool. He's going to bounce back the mirror and then summon it again. That's so cool. So he uses Falco. So he uses May's second effect, discard a card to summon it. Then uses Falco effect to bounce back Mia, and then summons itself because it was added to the hand. That's so cool. And this deck can summon Ningetsu super easily since it has a Link 1 and a Link 2 monster. That is super clever. He's using the effect of Ningetsu in Chain and Circle. So it means Ningetsu can send a circle to the graveyard on resolution of Ningetsu's effect. So it's almost as if he just got Ningetsu effect for free. So that's one way he's gonna just get rid of a card without him being able to use Bailings. Seen some super cool plays so far. He's got rid of the Heatleo. I'm not massively sure if he can get game here, game 1. But let's just see what else Vlad can do. Well, he's still got Spinny, so there's definitely something he can do. He's got a lot of resources. I feel like Ahmed's game 1 days are numbered. It's looking very likely Vlad is going to take game 1. But you never know. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a card game. Anything can happen. He's going to link all 3 away for his own Heatleo. If I was Ahmed, I probably would have just took the damage just to keep the Bailings in grave, because the Gazelle's going no matter what. It's probably best to just keep the Bailings in grave and manage your resources a bit better. But not sure what cards are in Ahmed's head, so we'll see. We'll see if Ahmed can out the Heatleo, which will be difficult since Vlad has a Bailings. But this Ningetsu is also applying pressure as well, because if he leaves this Ningetsu on field, then he's going to get so much value out of it. Because it means he can use its effect again, as it's not an unsummon effect. But Ahmed has plays. Ahmed has a Foxy, Ahmed has a Spinny, and a Jaguar. So he can push. That's why this mirror match is so cool, because it's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of pushes. Your graveyard's just such an important resource. That's why I see a lot of Salamangreat players going first and just using Dweller, because Dweller just shuts off a large portion of the deck, as a lot of the deck really relies on the effects in the graveyard. So he's going to link the Falco into a Bailings. He's going to use Falco to set Fusion of Fire. He is. Now I might have spoke too soon. Maybe Ahmed is going to OTK Vlad. Oh, but Vlad had the raw. Negating Fusion of Fire, which was probably looking like Ahmed's win condition to get back into this game. And Vlad read that beautifully. But Ahmed's still going to push. Ahmed's still going to try. So here comes a Jack Jaguar. No, Ahmed must be thinking he needs to get rid of these cards on field. He needs to somehow just like level the playing field and take cards away from Vlad. Otherwise, he's gonna be in quite a horrible position. Now, unfortunately, he can't use that Gazelle since he's added it back off Sunlight Wolf. Let me just double check that. But it cannot be normal summoned or special summoned. Let me just tell him he can't. Yep, looks like Vlad must have told him that he can't do that. Ooh, and Vlad had the effect failure just to rub salt into the wounds there. Just to really show that Vlad's looking like in complete control. But again, those life points haven't hit 0. And Ahmed just passes with one back row. That back row could be a number of things. It could be another Rage, which I don't think it would be. It could be the Counter Trap, or it could be Sanctum. It's probably the Counter Trap, because he probably would have flipped Sanctum so he doesn't get OTK'd. So I'm thinking he's just going to hope. Yep, it's the Counter Trap, so that'll get rid of the Ningetsu. So he needed to do that just to bait out the Counter Trap with Ningetsu, and then now it looks like... Ooh, another... Oh, and he has the Call by the Grave for the Ash. Not sure it mattered at all, but I think now... Oh, that's it. That'll do. That'll just seal it. The Call by the Grave makes it so Vlad doesn't have to do the work, and Ahmed just scoops. And that's it. That's game 1. Very exciting game 1. Quite back and forth. But for me, I feel like Vlad was always winning that game. But what will Ahmed do game 2? What sort of things can he side? Post side. Well, if he isn't main decking Sanctum, you could probably play Sanctum. Resolving Sanctum in the mirror match is pretty strong, as it means you can get on the back foot and generate a lot of card advantage and resources. Otherwise, your opponent is just always going to be a turn behind. If you're not main decking Dweller, you can side Dweller. Going first with Dweller is just super strong. It's not only a card that lasts one turn, if it sticks it'll last another one. So it applies pressure in that regard, as I don't think there's a Salamangreat normal summon that can out it as well. So he has to make Sunlight Wolf and attack over it, which is super awkward. So Ahmed's going to choose to go first game 2. Oh, he's not. He's going to let... That's weird. He's going to let Vlad start here. It's very interesting. If he's choosing to make him start, then I can't help but wonder what sort of side deck cards Ahmed will be playing. Maybe Evenly, but I don't think Evenly is that strong against this deck because of Raw. Maybe he decided to side a lot of hand traps. Maybe he thought Twin Twister is really important. But I just can't imagine anything will be particularly really good, considering Vlad can just set the counter trap and just stop any sort of side deck cards that Ahmed could side. It's an interesting strategy though. Not sure if I would personally do it myself, but we'll see. If it has a big payoff for him, then that'll prove me wrong. But for now, it's looking pretty strong. This is a really ideal opening for Vlad. This is literally the opening for Salamangreat. Set the counter trap, Sunlight Wolf with a Balinx engrave. Is he going to play around the Kaiju as well by sending the Jaguar to grave for a Balinx? No, he's not. He's just assuming that the mirror doesn't side hand traps. Oh, and he drew the Phantasm, showing his opponent. Just joking on, saying that he drew the Phantasmia for turn. That would have been pretty good for him to have if he opened, because he could have summoned it and drawn it for a plus. Maybe it was correct for Vlad to not summon the Balinx, because it meant that since Phantasmia is seeing more play, if an opponent's clever, if Ahmed was clever and he was holding it for when they go Sunlight Wolf Balinx, then he just draws an extra card for no reason. So right now we know he has a dead card in hand, which is a Phantasme. But the other card he just searched there was a Jaguar. It's interesting. Oh, no. I was on Vlad's card, so he probably searched a Gazelle. It's just the most likely card you would search, as you need to see that for a lot of your openings. Oh, he's just going to go ahead and normal a Jaguar. Maybe he did normal it. Search it rather. Standard plays so far. Balinx, get the Sanctuary. Chain blocking the Balinx, so he can definitely get the Sanctuary. So the good thing about him opening Jaguar is he can immediately just have access to an extender without having to go into Stalio. Oh, Vlad is straight up just negated the Gazelle. No nonsense, no shenanigans. Just don't let Gazelle resolve, which is probably a good idea, as Gazelle can just send another extender, but no, you just want to stop it right there. Suffocate Ahmed from the resources. Don't let him have the cards. Vlad recognizes and he's in a really strong position, and he doesn't want Ahmed to have anything. Can Ahmed use the effect of Foxy even though he doesn't have a face-up one, or does there just have to be one? Oh wow, there just has to be a face-up card on the field. It doesn't necessarily have to be on your side of the field. So that's really cool. Really good interaction in the mirror. Even if you don't have access to the field spell, you can still use Foxy if your opponent has a field spell. So he's brought it back while ditching the Spinny to pop it, and then just bring back the Spinny. So Ahmed is making some pretty flex plays so far. He's going to Reincarnation Link into another Balinx. So I think his thought process is he wants the Balinx engraved to protect the Salamangreat monsters on field in case they were to be disrupted again. Ahmed is definitely not going to OTK Vlad for this board, I would imagine. And here comes the Jaguar now. He's put the Balinx back. So he probably just did that to... so he could just use the Jaguar, I imagine. But what now, Ahmed? You've got quite a decent setup here. What do you do with it? Ooh. Update Jammer. Once per battle during damage calculation, if your Cyberse monster battles, you can activate this effect. Negate all the card effects on the field until the end of the damage step. That's pretty strong. Damage calculation for this battle uses each monster's original attack and defense. Oh, he's just linking it. He's using it as a sort of ladder. I think people use this as a way to OTK. Oh, okay. Oh, no. Thought we were going to see something a really cool OTK there. But Vlad had the impermanence. So what was his line of play here? When this card is co-linked, and it was co-linked monsters gain 500 attack. Also, your opponent cannot target it. You can target one life. Oh, so it's special summons to update Jammer from the graveyard, and then it allows him to OTK. Wow, that's a big hit for Ahmed. He put a lot of chips in that basket, a lot of eggs in that basket, and he was punished. Maybe he recognised that he just had to take a risk to go for game, which I completely empathise with. If you see that you're losing the game, you have to take a risk. But unfortunately, Vlad just had the out. I think what he did there wasn't necessarily bad. He had to go for it, I think. But it looks like now Vlad's opening was too strong, and making him start probably was not the correct thing to do. Sama's got a lot to think about here. He's got to do damage control. What does he do now? He's staring down what is the Salamangreat Nuts board. 3 Salamangreat monsters you have to get rid of. One of which is an extender. With an extender underneath it. Vlad has everything. And I think Ahmed knows that. Which is why he's very hesitant to make another play. Oh, he's going to the battle phase. Damage control now. Just get rid of some cards. He has to get rid of that Stalio for sure. Because if he doesn't, then it's going to cause all sorts of bother for Ahmed. As when if it's linked away, it can just bounce a card. So getting rid of that Stalio is good. He's going to go ahead and use Heater. Oh, he's not. Okay then. Yes, he's not going to do that. He's making a right mess of this, isn't he? Oh, he's just going to pass. Okay. So what can this set be? I certainly hope it's an Artifact Sanctum, otherwise he's probably not going to win. It can't be a Rage, because if it was a Rage, he... Oh, Chalice! That's cool. So that stops that Sunlight Wolf. And I'm not sure which effect he would have used. Probably, oh, to add back his Speller Trap. So that's a hard one per turn, so he won't be able to do that again. So now Vlad has to OTK without that Sunlight Wolf effect. But you can probably just link both of them into another Sunlight Wolf. Use Jaguar, Sunlight Wolf, add back a card. He won't be able to use it, but might as well. This will trigger the Gazelle in hand that he has. Oh, but ooh, Ahmed has a Phantasme. This is interesting. Now Vlad has to worry about a Phantasme. Balinks as well, yep. So this Foxy's being protected. This is quite a big guy. And this is protecting his monsters from being targeted. Will he use the Foxy's effect this time? Or will he save it for the grave effect? Oh no, he's digging. No hits. That's quite disappointing for Vlad. I still think his position is favoured. But it does suck that he's essentially just wasted a Foxy effect. Now he's going to use Stalio to bait out the Phantasme, I assume. Phantasme will negate it, but you won't be losing cards since it'll be in the graveyard when it uses its effect. This is good. Vlad is generating card advantage now, so if he finds himself not being able to OTK Ahmed, he has a lot of resources here. He's going to resolve a Gazelle. He's getting Falco to set back the counter trap. It's looking strong. He doesn't have the field spell though, so you can't do big boy powerful plays. But he's still got a lot he can do nonetheless. But again, I emphasize, since he's used the effect of Stalio, he can only use the effect of fire monsters. So no Borrow Sword shenanigans here. More than likely only going to see Salamangreat monsters on this board. So he's linking into a Heatleo, and this will trigger Stalio to try and get rid of that Phantasme. Oh no, he got rid of the whatever its name was. I think it was an X-Code Talker. And summoning that monster in defense mode was a great idea, since Heatleo can make monsters attacks 0. But maybe if he summoned it in attack mode, it would have applied more pressure, since Heatleo couldn't attack over it otherwise. So he's probably made the wrong decision there to put it in defense mode, especially since Vlad doesn't have the field spell. You couldn't reincarnation link the Heatleo, so now he's just going to attack over it for free. So he's protected the Foxy, which means that Ahmed has a resource that he can use to help him extend into more plays. So he has a Jaguar engrave. Oh, he's made another Heatleo. Oh, when he's did that, so he could set, and that's it. Vlad just had too much. He had a Veiler as well and a Twin Twister. It looked like Vlad was always winning that game. That was a pretty fun mirror match. I think what Ahmed probably shouldn't have made him start. You definitely need to set up in this deck. I think it's really, really important. And for anyone watching, you can give it a go. You can try going second. But personally, I think going first in this matchup is super important, especially since it's sort of a resource management match, and you have a card like this that can protect you from blowouts. So yeah, it is definitely important to just be able to get set up. Unless you're super confident in, like, if you have a range of hand traps that you feel more comfortable playing, then by all means try and go second. But for me personally, I think I would go first, definitely, just to try and set up this card in maybe Sanctum and Dweller. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the Salamangreat mirror match. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you guys later.